remain standing as we read the scripture. If possible, you may be seated. We are going to look at Luke 19, verses 1 through 10. He entered Jericho and was passing through it. A man was there named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was rich. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but on account of the crowd, he could not, because he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see him, because he was going to pass that way. When Jesus came to the place, he looked up and he said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today. So he hurried down and was happy to welcome him. All who saw it began to grumble and said, he has gone to be the guest of one who is a sinner. Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, look, half of my possessions, Lord, I will give to the poor. And if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I will pay back 4 times as much. Then Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this house, because he too is the son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek out and to save the lost. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
You may be seated.
Well, what happened in Jericho? What happened in Jericho? We have this story, this wonderful, wonderful story in Luke's Gospel that tells about Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is one of those stories that we have all heard in Sunday school and Vacation Bible School. We have heard down through the years, but it is always a joy to be able to revisit. It's always a joy to be able to look at and to see all the different ways in which something amazing is happening in Jericho. And when we look at the start of the scripture, it begins this way. He entered Jericho and was passing through it. A man was there named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector, wait for it, and was rich. Not just that he was a chief tax collector, but that he was rich. And as Luke's audience, as those who were reading Luke read in the synagogues and where else it is being told, we hear this and we go, uh-oh. That's all they had to hear. He was a chief tax collector and he was rich, uh-oh. Because if we look in Luke's gospel, Luke does not look favorably or kind upon the rich. If we look in Luke's gospel, we see over and over again some admonitions against the rich and some admonitions about that. It says in chapter 6, it says, verse 24, but woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. And then we see in chapter 12 where it says, I can only flip so fast. And we see in chapter 12 where it says, there is the story in chapter 12 about, making sure I'm in the right place here. Yes, as we look in, no, I'm not looking in the right place. Okay. I thought I was looking in the right place. It happens. There we go, the parable of the rich fool. Someone in the crowd said to him, teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me. And then a parable is told. The land of a rich man produced abundantly. What should I do? I have no place to store my crops. I will pull down my barns and build bigger ones, and will say to my soul, so you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry, wait for it. But God said to him, you fool, this very night your life is being demanded of you. And it's still not thinking too good of the rich. We just continue on, and there continues to be story after story against the rich man and Lazarus. We know that that doesn't end too well. And then in chapter 18, we see about a ruler who is rich. And we see he has done all these wonderful things. But Jesus heard this and said to them, there is still one thing lacking. Sell all that you own and contribute the money to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come and follow me. But when he heard this, he became sad, for he was very rich. Jesus looked at him and said, "How hard is it for those who have wealth to enter the kingdom of God? Indeed, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God." So when we get here to chapter 19, and it is this Zacchaeus, who we find out is a chief tax collector and was rich, it does not look good. It does not look good at all. It looks as if for those who have been listening to Jesus as this story unfolds, as this gospel unfolds, that Zacchaeus is going to be the one who gets it. And in some ways, maybe there are even some in the who would have been listening in synagogue and elsewhere that are putting their hands together, glad that finally this rich guy is going to get it. He's going to get it in just the way that he should. He's going to be told by Jesus what's what, and that's how it's going to go. But we see that it doesn't continue like that. We see that there is a shift. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but on account of the crowd, he could not, because he was short in stature. But on account of the crowd, Zacchaeus could not see Jesus because he was short in stature. So here's the decision that Zacchaeus has to make. He has to determine in this moment, in this space of time, if it is important for him to see Jesus. If it is important for him to not only hear him, but to see him, to have that connection with Jesus. To look at the scripture passage immediately before this, before Jesus gets into Jericho, we see that he is healing a blind beggar. It is a story about someone who receives sight, and it is, again, a foreshadowing of what is about to take place. And so we see here in the scripture that Zacchaeus has this choice to make. Is he going to stay the way he has been, this chief tax collector who is rich, and the importance of those things? Or is there something more important than even that? We see that what Zacchaeus does is he chooses to make a fool of himself. A fool of himself when he is the one in this high standing in community. A fool of himself, and though he may be short in stature, people still look up to him. Maybe begrudgingly, but they look up to him because he is the one with the power. He is the one with might. He is the one with wealth. And so he chooses first to do the things that Roman men would not have done in that day and time. And it says he ran ahead. He ran ahead. Dignified Roman men did not run anywhere. If anything, people were running to them. But they were not running to someone else. And so he does this indecent thing. He runs. He makes a fool of himself in that moment. But he doesn't stop there. When he gets to that sycamore tree, he climbs up in it, again making a double fool of himself. You heard when I said with the kids, when you're a child, it's okay to climb trees. When you get to be an adult, don't climb those trees anymore. It's not dignified. Maybe our bones aren't quite so limber too. But it's not dignified to do that sort of thing. So here is this fool up in the tree who's been running. And there, if the audience by now, those who are listening in, have not been primed to think this guy is absolutely ridiculous and he's really going to get it. And in this moment, they are certainly thinking that. What happened in Jericho? What happened to Zacchaeus in that moment? He was more a desire to be a fool than he was to have anything else. The change that's happening there in Jericho is continuing. So he ran ahead and climbed the sycamore tree to see him because he knew he was going to pass that way. And when Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to Zacchaeus, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today. You run here, you run up the tree. Now I want you to run down the tree, and I want you to run to your house. You think you're done being foolish? No. Even more so now. What happened in Jericho? Here is Jesus giving this command. Now, I tell you, normally today, the way the invitation works, the way that hospitality works, you invite someone to your house. You don't have someone say, I'm going to come to your house. Right? We would think that's a bit presumptuous. Well, here is Zacchaeus being asked, no, not even asked, told by Jesus. And if there's anyone who could command that respect, be a rabbi, be a teacher like Jesus. One who would have likewise been in very high standing, if not higher, than Zacchaeus, certainly in religious importance in the community. And so, Zacchaeus could stay up in that tree looking like a fool, or he could come down looking like a fool. Either way, he is to be embarrassed. So he hurried down and was happy to welcome him. But in contrast, all who saw it began to grumble. Why? Because they were not the ones that were getting spoken to. They were not the ones who had Jesus to come to their house. They were not the ones who were of importance. Here is this chief tax collector who has done these horrible things, who has robbed all of these people of all of their money. See, he's not just a tax collector. He is the tax collector of the tax collectors. So that other tax collectors who skimmed off the top whenever they took those taxes from those Jewish citizens, here he is taking all of that up on top of what they have earned. Rich upon rich. And here he is having all of this happen, and people are grumbling at him because that's not how it was supposed to go. It was supposed to go something like Jesus shows up and says, Zacchaeus, you are an awful and sinful man. This is how it's going to go down. But Jesus just keeps flipping the tables. Every time we think we have him figured out, every time we think that we know who he is, every time we think we have this knowledge of exactly how Jesus is, and people are going to get their just desserts, and this is what's going to happen. It doesn't happen that way. The gospel reminds us of that over and over again, that there is something more miraculous at work in this world, and it is God's love transforms the sinner. God's love transforms the lost. God's love transforms the least. God's love is transforming even this ridiculous fool up in a tree named Zacchaeus. And what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing to witness and to bear witness to that. They grumbled and said, he has gone to be the guest of one who is a sinner. And Zacchaeus stood there in his own home. He gets to his own home. And he stands there, and it is precisely in that moment when he stands there, it's as if everything crystallizes. It's that everything, just all of a sudden, it becomes so clear as day in his mind. Jesus hasn't told him what to do. Jesus has simply taken up residence for a meal in his house. But out of that great swelling of love that Jesus has given to him, that love which in many respects he probably thinks, I didn't deserve this, out of that immensity of love and compassion that the rabbi has, the teacher, Jesus, he makes this response. Look, Lord, half of my possessions I will give to the poor. Don't let that be lost on us, how dramatic that was. Most of us wouldn't take our house and just cut it in half. Our car, cut it in half. Everything we have, give all of that away. it is immense what he is doing. He may be rich, and we can say, well, yeah, he's rich, he can afford to give away half. But nonetheless, I think we would all say, regardless of where you're at, to just give half of it away. That's crazy, that's wild. In fulfillment, of course, of Levitical law, there we see that immense transformation that takes place. And if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I will pay back 4 times as much. It says there, a couple places in Exodus, about that offering that was given that to recompense for someone who had stolen something, to recompense for someone who had killed something, to give back 4 times what was owed. I will pay back 4 times as much. So it's not as if he went from rich to half rich, he went from rich to half rich to much less rich than all of that. Again, it's not about how much wealth he has. It's about the change of heart that is going on as he goes about this work, as he goes about this practice, as he goes about this transformation that takes place. Remember, it's not the well that are in need of a doctor, but those who are sick. And here we see that Zacchaeus, man, had every luxury in the world. He was very sick. There are others maybe down there in the crowd who very much were found. But Zacchaeus has been struggling and wondering and searching in all the wrong places to try and find fulfillment. Here in this moment, Jesus points to him, he comes to his house, he welcomes him, and there is transformation in their place. And Jesus says to him, today, salvation has come to this house, because he too, yes, that rich man Zacchaeus, he too, yes, that chief tax collector Zacchaeus, he too, yes, even that short guy Zacchaeus, is the son of Abraham. The Son of Man came to seek out and to save the lost. In the name of the Father,